Are you ready? Are you ready for an emergency? Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. I wanted to show you a little pamphlet I got the other day when I was on base. It's called Are You Ready? Guidelines for Navy Family Emergency Preparedness. And this is not classified or, for foreign use only or anything like that. This is open document that, yes, I can show it. It's pretty sweet, actually. I was pretty impressed with it. Here, I'll show you the list of topics that it covers really quick. If you wanted to like screenshot it or look at them really quick, here I'll do kind of like a close-up. Some good topics. It's actually pretty decent. It talks first about having a plan. It talks about, being informed, like I talk about head on a swivel all the time. It talks about a fire escape plan, an evacuation plan, family emergency plan. It talks about resources, collecting important papers. There's a checklist for collecting important papers. Practice your plan, right there. Practice your plan. That is what I talk about all the time. You bug out practice, bug in practice, off-grid practice, turn off your breaker, those kind of things. Get out and do the things. It's talking about that. Talking about declared emergencies, tips to protect your personal property, people with special needs it talks about. That's really cool because, families, that's a situation. It talks about pets. How do you deal with your pets in an emergency? Preparing your kids. Pretty good. It's basic. Yes, it's very basic. But it even talks about a kit, making a kit. And a scavenger hunt family game. It talks about that kind of stuff. Emergency kits, basic emergency supply kits. It talks about water, food. It's talking about 3 days of each. So, it's not the best, but hey, this is pretty darn good. I know most people aren't even at this level. A manual can opener, first aid kit, special prescription medication, stuff like that, dust masks, sanitation, flashlights, even an NOAA weather radio, extra batteries, money, wrenches, tools, stuff like that, and then additional like infant supplies, disinfectants, sleeping bags, coats, fire extinguisher, those kind of things. And they talk about a portable emergency kit, which is pretty sweet, a workplace emergency kit, a vehicle emergency kit. Talks about maintaining your kits. It even talks about routinely evaluating your kits. I talk about that all the time, so I was pretty impressed with this book. Emergency actions if you evacuate or stay. Evacuation checklist. Boom. And this might actually be available online. I don't know. Safe havens and shelters it talks about. Civilian shelters, military, bases and stuff like that. Talks about how to prepare. Talks about sheltering in place. We talk about that all the time. Bug in, we call it. Bugging in. Talks about overseas, it talks about, because this is for the military. Being informed, it talks about natural hazards like earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, power outages, tornadoes, and wildfires. And it has a little section on each. Pretty darn good. Let me see, let me skip through all those, the hurricanes and stuff like that. Power outages it talks about, rolling blackouts, summer blackouts, how to prepare for a blackout, power outages, where to find information about it. Let me skip through that, it talks about wildfires. One thing that's really sweet, it has a little thing here, your family emergency plan. And it has, let me see, here's the second page of it. Family emergency plan, pretty sweet. It has all kinds of things like evacuation plan, calm plan, where your family spends time, addresses and stuff like that, phone numbers, family members, like driver's license numbers, passport numbers, those kind of things. Yeah, they can be pretty important. Right there. Yep. Let me see, what else? It's pretty darn good. Man-made hazards, talking about chemical emergencies, nuclear power plant emergencies. They just do really skim over that kind of stuff. They don't talk about like riots, looting. They don't talk about societal breakdown or anything like that. Of course, this isn't for preppers. This is just a basic for most families. And it goes into depth about them. It does talk about terrorism and biological terrorism though. So those are good topics. And chemical terrorism, also their use of explosive devices, So yeah, I was pretty impressed. Oh yeah, what to expect if a naval facility is attacked. Nuclear blast, radioactive materials, which, I mean, Navy bases have radioactive materials. They have nuclear reactors, nuclear missiles, different things like that. Also, what do you do immediately after disaster? Talks about how to find assistance, food, water, shelter, addressing financial and emotional needs, which is important. Emotional needs are important. That's why we have our groups. We have people that we can rely on to help each other. We work as a team, whether that be your family or your mutual assistance group. And then it talks about Navy family assistance. Also, how do I get food and water? It talks about water treatment, stuff like that. It talks about filtration and yeah, filtering using coffee filters, cloth, stuff like that. Also boiling, that was the doing that and then boiling it. Or it talks about drops of liquid chlorine bleach, those kind of things. Stuff that we know, that I hope you know. But things that are important to talk about. It talks about financial issues, coping with disaster. That's pretty important. Coping with disaster is very important. Mental, like I say, right here, this is where prepping happens. The most important part of prepping is up here, it's mental. And then, of course, there's a list of resources and stuff like that in the back. But all in all, I was really impressed by this. I would say most people, most Americans, are not even at this level yet. Not even close to this level. But most of us here are, right? But I thought I'd just go over this with you guys, show you. It's some good information, and this information's out there. How many people are actually listening and applying it to their lives? Don't know. But it's out there, and yeah, it's a good little pamphlet. Like I said, I was pretty impressed. So even if you're at the basic level, like you're a beginner prepper, no problem. We were all there at one time. So start off with something like this, basic preparedness, or look at CERT information or FEMA information. That's very, very, very basic. What the government recommends is not what I recommend, and most preppers. We go way, way above and beyond that because they're just thinking that you'll stay alive until government help comes. Well, I prep for government help never coming or taking a very long time. I don't want to be reliant or on the government. I want to be reliant on myself, self-sufficient, self-sustainable, self-reliant, all those self words that I love. Remember, prepping is is living insurance. Sorry, not life insurance. Life insurance is death insurance, right? Of course. But prepping is living insurance. I want to thrive in a situation, not just survive. Surviving is a lot easier than thriving. I want my family to be healthy, happy, and secure. So it's very important to talk about the basics sometimes and to cover things like this. We all need to, no matter how good you are. Okay, here's an example, like SF people, Special Forces, Special Operations, SOCOM, the types, gunslingers. What makes them good? Really, it's the complete and total utter mastery of the basics. Also high-speed, low-drag stuff, but they are so good mainly because of complete and utter mastery of the basics. So we need to master stuff like this. Completely master it. Have every single thing in there. If we don't even have what's in there, then we need to reassess ourselves and take a round turn on that. And at least have all those things. And it may also open your eyes to some different things that maybe you hadn't thought about. I always talk about that. I always try to think about things outside the box, different ideas to throw your way. I want to plant that seed, up here. But anyway, I love you guys. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Please hit the notification bell. Share the videos. Do the things. And check us out on Patreon. If you want to check us out on Patreon, link is in the description below. And Amazon storefront also. A lot of good stuff there. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And blessings to you and yours.